Summary: Good to Great by Jim Collins is a management book that aims to identify what makes some companies outperform others and sustain their success over the long term. The book is grounded in a 5-year research project conducted by Collins and his team that involved studying 28 companies that had made the transition from good to great. The project aimed to identify the key factors that enabled those companies to achieve and sustain superior performance. The book argues that there is no silver bullet or magic formula for achieving greatness, but rather a combination of disciplined people, disciplined thought, and disciplined action. Collins uses a variety of examples, anecdotes, and research findings to illustrate his points and provide practical advice for business leaders. The main idea of the book is that greatness is not a function of circumstance, but a result of conscious choices and actions. Great companies have a clear and compelling vision, a culture of discipline, focus on what they can be best at, and have the right people on the bus in the right seats. The book encourages leaders to embrace a mindset of continuous improvement and to remain humble, curious, and driven by a passion for excellence. Overall, Good to Great offers a comprehensive and well-researched guide to achieving and sustaining long-term business success. Key ideas: 1. Level 5 leadership. The idea that great companies are led by humble leaders who are focused on achieving goals for the company rather than their own personal gain. This Level 5 leadership includes a mix of personal humility and professional will, and it is an important factor in driving the success of a company. For example, in the book, Good to Great, Collins highlights the example of Darwin Smith, the CEO of Kimberly-Clark, who approached his work with a focus on the success of the company rather than personal glory. Smith was known for his humility, taking a modest salary and refusing to have his picture displayed in the company's annual report. However, despite his low profile, Smith drove the company to great success. First who, then what? The principle of identifying the right people before establishing strategy. Companies need the right people in the right positions to drive success. The right people bring the right values, motivation, and work ethic that lead to success. This principle came up in the case of Abbott, where the new CEO identified the right people to take the company forward by having a handpicked team in place before initiating any new. Confront the brutal facts. The idea that an honest and open assessment of a company's success or failure is necessary to make the right changes to drive success. This means allowing open communication and facing the hard truths of a situation, no matter how uncomfortable it may be. For example, Collins reminds us of the critical actions of Darwin Smith in confronting brutal facts by closing down Kimberly-Clark's mill that produced glossy paper products, as the company could not be successful in this sector, which prompted the growth of Kleenex. Hedgehog concept. The hedgehog concept is the idea that a great organizational strategy depends on a clear understanding of 3 key components: what the company is passionate about, what it can be the best in the world at, and what drives its economic engine. This means that a company must have a deep understanding of its abilities and its values in order to find the right strategy to drive its success. An example of the hedgehog concept in action is the success story of Walgreens, which focused on becoming the nation's most convenient pharmacy instead of focusing solely on growing its revenue or market share. Culture of discipline. The idea that a culture of discipline is essential in driving the sustained progress of a company. This means having the right processes and practices in place, including hiring, managing, and setting expectations and goals to create a culture of discipline. One great example mentioned in the book is the disciplined culture of Wells Fargo, where every employee was expected to meet very high ethical standards, which drives the company reputation and success. Flywheel. The flywheel concept in Good to Great is the idea that lasting success is not the result of a single event, however rather a string of careful, repeated effort. Without the idea of a flywheel in action, business change has the tendency to fizzle out. In the context of a flywheel, repeated efforts to innovate, improve processes, and move the organization forward fuel one another to develop unbeatable momentum. For instance, one example is the successful evolution of Kimberly-Clark achieved through the opening of a second facility in 1970, driving the growth of paper and pulp despite difficult times forcing them to confront the swing. Overall, the book emphasizes the need for leaders to focus on their people and their culture, embrace the brutal facts, have the rigor and discipline to achieve cultural change, and develop a focused strategy to create a great company. The success of a company lies in having a clear vision of its goals, finding the right people for the job, and creating a culture of discipline to drive sustained progress in achieving the desired goals. Quotes 1. Good is the enemy of great. This quote speaks to the idea that settling for good enough can prevent a company or individual from reaching greatness. 2. Greatness is not a function of circumstance. Greatness, it turns out, is largely a matter of conscious choice and discipline. This quote emphasizes the importance. You have listened to the Good to Great audiobook summary. If you want to hear more high-quality book summaries like this, please like this video and subscribe to the channel.